Hello, everybody. Ray Williams here with the sales server. Welcome back. Oh, excuse me a minute. I'm getting a call. Hello. Yeah, this is him. You know what? Seen the product. Not interested. Thanks. Right? Do your cold calls fall flat like that? There's probably a reason behind it. Today, what I'm going to review with you is my secret recipe on script writing so you can land more calls and show up to your discovery meetings a little bit more rehearsed and well prepared, hearing from your prospect directly. So, first of all, why do most sales calls end with a disconnect, not interested, or timing's not right? Well, most of the time, your sales professional is just simply winging it. I don't need a script. I don't want to sound robotic. Well, you know what? A script is not for you to read verbatim. It's a framework. When you are prospecting and you are doing cold calls, your goal is to win time. Every statement you make, everything you say, every question you ask, you are trying to win another 10 seconds of talk time with that prospect, another 10 seconds, another 10 seconds, until ultimately you win 30 minutes to an hour of their time in a future set meeting. Let's get right into it, guys. Number one, you need to set the expectations of who you are, why you're calling. What I like to call an upfront contract, most of you have heard that before if you've been selling for a while. It's going to look something like this. Let's say for the example that our prospect's name is Frank. Sounds good. Hey, Frank, this is Ray from ABC Company. Now, you can go one of three ways. Why am I calling, right? I was just on your website, or I was just on your LinkedIn, or I was just speaking to Ann over at Accounting's Payable, right? And I was hoping to ask you a couple quick questions to see if it's even worth a larger combo. Would that be okay? Do you got a sec? Right. So what I'm doing here is I'm identifying who I am and where I'm calling from. I'm identifying why I'm calling. I was on your website, I was looking at your LinkedIn, or I was speaking with another one of your colleagues. And what I'm looking to accomplish on this call, I'm hoping to ask you a couple quick questions to see if it's even worth a larger combo. Would that be okay? Do you got a sec? I'm also asking for their permission. So I do all of this right up front. Hey, Frank, this is Ray from Software Company. I was just on your website and was hoping to ask you a couple quick questions to see if it's even worth a larger combo. Would that be okay? You got a sec? So flow right in, who I am, why I'm calling, what I'm looking to accomplish. Step number one, super simple. Now, you're going to have to do some research on some of these things so that you don't say I was just on your LinkedIn and they don't have a LinkedIn profile, right? Don't say you were talking with so-and-so over in another department if you weren't. Be honest, okay? So step one, upfront contract, set those expectations all in about 10 seconds. Step two, we're going to go right into aligning ourselves as the subject matter expert, SME, SME, subject matter expert, and aligning on the pain of the industry. So that's how we establish we know what we're talking about. So we just asked if they got a sec. Most of the time they say, yeah, what's this regarding again? Or who are you calling from? Just go right into the next portion. Thanks, Frank. And I always like to say thank you and acknowledge them. People hearing their first name really goes far in them listening and feeling like they were heard as well. So thanks, Frank. I talk to industry professionals. This could be accounting professionals. This could be tax attorneys. This could be director of operations, right? Whoever you sell to, you insert here where it says industry professionals. I talk to director of operations all day, and everyone seems to be looking for ways to industry specific goal. This is where you are going to share what your product solves for, ideally that no other product does solve for, and that is also a pain in the industry, which is the reason your product exists. Everyone seems to be looking for ways to do more with less overhead costs, be more productive, increase their accounts payable by X%, right? But now you roll into what is the challenge of the industry? What blocks people from accomplishing this? But most people are flooded with the day-to-day tasks and can't seem to catch a break long enough to actually accomplish XYZ target, right? Does that sound like your world, or has your team mastered ABC? So what we're doing here is we're letting them know that, hey, I know what I'm talking about because I talk to your colleagues all day. This is what they tell me, and this is what they also tell me is a blocker to their success. Are you experiencing that success as well, or have you mastered this? Are you the guru, right? And the last question here is really a gimme question, right? Because you know they haven't mastered it, and you're really just trying to open the door as to, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and I need to understand if you are feeling the same pain or if your focus is elsewhere. So this may sound something like, thanks, Frank. I talk to Director of Ops all day, and everyone seems to be looking for ways to increase their productivity, but most of the time they're throwing way too many dollars at payroll and hiring too many people who are not as productive as, let's say, some of the technology out there. Does that sound like your world, or have you guys created a super efficient model where you are getting X result, right? So at this point, your prospect is going to open up a little bit. Oh, yeah, we're dealing with that avalanche of emails as well. Or, oh, you know what? No, that's not really our focus. What we've been dealing with is this. Either route is perfect because they're going to now tell you what they do care about. If you didn't hit it on the head and they open up like, oh yeah, you know what? No one seems to have cracked that, then the second best scenario is now they're going to tell you what they're focused on. So from here, we need to collaborate. I call it a little mini disco because this is an opportunity for you to get in the weeds a little bit more, especially when they start opening up about what they do care about. So this is going to sound like this. Step number 3, let's do a little mini disco and collaborate with our prospect. Hey, Frank, good news is everyone seems to be in the same boat looking to exactly what they said, accomplish ABC target. But let me be the first to tell you, there is no magic bullet. This you already know. However, in your opinion, Frank, what do you think would help you or your team accomplish ABC goal? So now what we're doing is aligning that, hey, look, you're not alone. Everyone's trying to solve for this. What do you think is the solution? So you're giving that power back to your prospect to share more about what they care about and what they think the solution is to their product or their problem, excuse me. The best news here is if this aligns to your product value, it's a home run. They just threw you an underhand pitch in a fast pitch softball game that you can crack out of the park, right? If not, this also gives you your exit. You guys are dealing with RFPs. Well, our product doesn't really solve for that, but what I can do is put you in touch with a couple of my colleagues who do that, right? And you can continue to network and build a collaborative experience because this person's then going to probably remember you and refer business your way, but you're also not going to waste anyone's time if you determine at this point that you just don't have a good fit, right? So, hey, Frank, good news here is everyone seems to be in the same boat, looking to get more juice per squeeze out of their reps that they have on board. But let me first tell you, there is no magic bullet. In your opinion, what do you think would help you increase productivity by X%, like you described, right? Use their words, put it right back in their face. Step 4. Moving on. At this point, if we've established that our product is solving for exactly what this guy's looking for, it's time to close. We are closing and we're doing it by having a mutual agreement with the customer. And I like to use what's called the MMS. I learned this from another sales training. I can't take credit, but it's the might make sense statement. I love this. I love this because I use this with my kids also. Frank, I think it might make sense for us to connect since we've worked with several director of operations dealing with exact industry specific challenge that was described above in the earlier call. It's at least worth an initial discussion, right? So let's get 30 minutes on the calendar next week to open that dialogue. How does Tuesday or Wednesday sound? Perfect. I have 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. Which works better for you? So what I'm doing here is I'm aligning with a soft close, not telling him, hey, we have to meet. I'm saying, I think it might make sense for us to connect and continue this discussion that we're already having, right? And the reason why is because we've worked with several industry professionals dealing with similar industry specific challenge that you've been discussing the whole time. And it's at least worth an initial discussion, right? So I am minimizing and reducing the risk of the ask. I'm basically co-selling at this point because I'm not telling Frank what to do. I'm saying based on what we've discussed so far, we should keep this discussion alive. The other thing that I really love to use is to open the dialogue. I think that is a less intrusive way to say, let's talk about this, right? So you have to roll all the way through this, and this is where you need to dial the empathy down and take control. Okay, you've heard what they're looking for. We solved what they're looking for. Now it's time to close for the meeting and get off the phone. Hey, Frank, I think it might make sense for us to connect since we've worked with several industry professionals dealing with the similar industry challenge. It's at least worth an initial discussion, right? So let's get 30 minutes on the calendar next week to open this dialogue or to continue this discussion, right? I don't ask, hey, would you like to meet? It's no, let's do this. They'll tell you if they don't want to do it, but you need to just take control and tell them, let's get 30 minutes on the calendar. And the next thing that I like to do is say next week, make it, push it out a little bit, not too far, push it out a little bit to remove the risk of the ask, especially if you're at the end of the week. And then you have to give 2 days as an option. Don't say what day works best for you. Say, does Tuesday or Thursday work better? At that point, you need to respond with, on that day, I have this time or this time. Which one are you available at? So you're always giving them a either or option. You don't ever ask the open-ended question when you're closing for the time. So, hey, it's at least worth an additional discussion. Let's get 30 minutes on the calendar next week. I have Monday or Friday available. Which days, which of those days work better for you, right? Perfect. Hey, on Friday, I have 10 a.m. earlier in the morning, but I also have a late in the afternoon at 3. Do you have a preference? Wonderful. At this point, you have to go ahead and finish the transition with the very last step, which is what I call lock it in, right? Lock that meeting in and then get anything else, right? So as soon as they give you the date and the time, you need to have your calendar ready with their email ready. This is all the stuff that you should have on your second screen already prepared. Hey, Frank, great. I'm going to send you a calendar invite right now. Can you go ahead and accept that for me so we don't get double booked? Awesome, Frank. We are all set for Friday at 2. I'm really looking forward to continue the discussion. And by the way, boom, 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 boom. So you have locked it in. You've gotten the calendar invite out. He's accepted. You're, hey, thanks. Let's keep talking. The very end, as you leave the call, you have now the opportunity to ask anything you want. By the way, are you guys also dealing with secondary value that our product delivers? Are you guys part of bigger parent company? Do you know these people over here? Could you introduce me, right? Now you have the opportunity to open the door to pretty much 2 to 3 questions additionally as you leave the call. But a lot of the time, there's a ton of meat on these bones that you can go after, and this will tee you up for your discovery call to be rock solid. So this is it. These are the 5 steps of my framework. What I can do is link a template for you in my comment section or in the description of the video. If you like this content, guys, please send feedback, like, follow, subscribe, all the fun stuff that YouTube offers. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow @SalesServer. Till next time.